Hey everybody. Okay, so we're going to address a couple of common questions that we've gotten on our website recently, and hopefully this will help you decide if you would like to reach out to an Oxygen coach. So one of the things that we hear through inquiries fairly often is, my business is struggling. What can Oxygen do to help? And we ironically answer this question a lot, even through a 30-second commercial. If you've been through training with us and you're just kind of watching through the videos, you'll very quickly raise your hand and say, oh, I know how to do this. I know how to answer that question for my own business. So we thought we'd introduce it today and go from there. So we work with a couple of different companies. Typically, they see the best results from us. So you may find yourself that you fit in one of these three categories. Now, if you don't fit in one of these three categories, feel free to reach out to us. If you've heard some great things about us and you'd like to know what we think, we're happy to work with you. But these are the three that we mainly work with. So companies that are growing rapidly and maybe newly growing rapidly, that's a big one for us. People who are frustrated because they're losing sales or people more frequently than they're accustomed to. And the third one is companies who are a little nervous that they are transitioning into a younger generation of leadership. And sometimes that may even look like a younger generation. Maybe the company's being passed on to the next generation if you're a multi-generational organization. So growing rapidly, losing people or sales rapidly, or transitioning to new leadership. And those are kind of a far cry. That's kind of both ends of the spectrum, right? So some people look at me and say, well, Kat, you can't have it all. So for those of you who own a company that may be growing rapidly, we all know that we've heard of organizations that grow so fast that they outgrow themselves. Their staff can't grow fast enough, or they don't know how to transition fast enough. Sometimes we see this in the manufacturing world. There isn't enough theory out there to help you stay emotionally engaged. All of a sudden you have so much income, you have so many contracts, you have so many orders, but then you end up with dissatisfied customers because you're not accustomed to that type of speed, or you haven't ramped up efficiently. Then cash flow becomes an issue. So we see that a lot in the manufacturing space. A lot of companies right now in the pandemic world did see kind of a hockey stick growth, and they aren't sure what to quite do with it. So that's something that we work with quite a bit. Losing people or sales rapidly. And this is a huge frustration for a lot of people. Again, the pandemic may have hockey sticked you up, but it could have very easily hockey sticked you down. And this is something that we deal with or without the pandemic at play. And so we will come in and help determine what is the problem. Typically, we see one of three things being the major issue, but we kind of help pinpoint that. And for those of us who are business owners, one of the hardest things that we all have to do is we're emotionally engaged in our own problems. These are our babies. Our companies are our babies, our blood, sweat, and tears. So sometimes it takes somebody to come in. I heard a great story about my dad's business when he got to a kind of a plateau of success at a point in his life. It was the moment when he found out that his business was only going to grow if he surrounded himself with people who were unemotionally attached to his business. And no different than his attorney, his accountant, his financial advisor, a good set of mentors, a business coach, that group of people becomes integral, because it's not that you cannot grow your business any further. You absolutely can, but there becomes a need for a group of people to surround yourself with. And the next one is transitioning to new leadership. And this one is a huge huge one for a lot of companies. There becomes a set of uncertainty when transitioning to new leadership. And that happens for lots of reasons, either attrition or, like I said, one of the things is transitioning to a younger generation or transitioning back to an original generation of ownership. And navigating how that happens, navigating all of the things that come with it. If you've watched some of the things that are coming out in Oxygen, in our coaching, we even have some companies that we work with or that are trying to navigate towards something as like an ESOP model. They've sold their company to their employees. So there's lots of different transitions in leadership and what that looks like. So that's another one that we see quite a bit. So what can Oxygen do for us? Sometimes we can't help you. I'll be very blatant in the fact that if you call us, we will be very honest with you and tell you sometimes we're not a great fit for all the organizations. We do a ton of work in the manufacturing space. We do a ton of work in the space where there's not a tangible object to sell. However, there comes a point where you may not fit best with our theories. So we're happy to be transparent and refer you off to someone who would best fit you. But the first thing that we do is we come in and assess your team. That could sometimes be your entire organization. It could be just a portion of your organization. And we're looking for the things that seem to be the issues that you identify. And then we can make a recommendation as to whether we're going to assess for other qualities or characteristics. Then typically we start at the top and train your team downwards. One of the things we don't want to see is cherry picking people to train. We train your executive staff first, and the executive staff will see the training before anyone else. Your sales staff will see it before the rest of your staff sees it, and then we'll teach some reinforcement training and continue on. One of the byproducts that we see quite a bit once we take on an organization is a shift in your culture, and that's not ever anything that we intend. Sometimes we talk to companies that say, oh, we have a great culture initiative. And that's great because with the incoming group of employees and this generation of employees that's coming in, culture is a huge piece that they're looking for their employer and where they're going to work for this portion of their careers. However, we're not here to train your culture. We're not here to shift. We're not here to adjust or really have anything to say about your culture, but we will reinforce that because we will give you the boost that you need to shift that culture in a positive direction. Our training is is reinforced with a ton of content and additional follow-up, and that has a propensity to, in a positive direction, shift any culture work that you're already currently doing. So we're happy to work with if you have a consultant that you've brought in, then you will see us work with them if you'd like. A lot of cases, they're happy to see us show up on scene because they like what we have the ability to do and what you sign up to do with us. One of the things that you'll see us give you the option for is to help support your meetings, whether it be staff meetings, sales meetings, anything like that. And we do that because we teach internal team conflict and negotiation tactics as well. So there's a whole array of things that you can get from us. You can build that package however you'd like. We have a team of coaches here that have entrepreneurial backgrounds, sales backgrounds, and training backgrounds deep into their careers. And so you can kind of have whatever you'd like, and that can also adjust through your contract. It gives us the pivot ability to help companies, especially as we start to resolve some of your anxiety and your frustrations and what's going on in your company. Your priorities with us may shift. And so working with a team that is diverse and has the backgrounds that we have lets us come in and stop the bleeding, stop the anxiety and frustrations that you're currently having with your situation and get that under control, and then move you into a more stable situation where you don't have to go at it alone going forward and maybe need us less, maybe need us more, or need us into a different capacity. So I hope that helps answer some of your questions. You are welcome to reach out to us on any of our social media channels, You can also find us at oxygencoachinggroup.com and solicit, fill out the form so we can reach back out to you and one of the coaches will get back, or however you heard of us today. We would really appreciate the referral. So please feel free to share this video on to someone who you think could use less frustration and anxiety in their business. So I hope everybody takes just a little bit of time to breathe life in today, and I look forward to hearing from everybody. Have a great day.